Well, here we have a Victrola the 4th. This was a flea market find from yesterday, my first flea market in a year and a half. Little one. Wasn't very crowded, so I put on all the protective gear and wandered in. Didn't think I would find much, but I was surprised to find an actual Victrola. I did actually find another small 30s knockoff portable type machine that actually had an exhibition reproducer stuck on it, which I immediately bought because they get a little hard to find, the exhibitions sometimes, a little expensive too. And then I spotted this sitting on the flea market guy's table there, and the price was reasonable. And now generally I have enough Victrola the 4ths to last me for a while. You know, they're not exactly uncommon, except for this one. This is a Victrola 4 with an A, and it's 363172. If you're paging through your Victrola Look for the Dog book right now on serial numbers, you'll know this one was made in 1917. And I've done videos before on this particular year of the 4. During the war, for a little shy of a year, I believe it was, between 17 and 18, they omitted, come on, the horn slats. See, there's no horn slats in there. That was an effort to preserve material for the war effort. How much material they actually preserved with 3 little slats, I don't know. But they did, and it wasn't a popular thing for whatever reason, and they went back to the original design for 1918. But these are not that commonly encountered, and strangely enough, at this particular flea market, I've only ever found 2 Victrola the 4ths, both of them 1917. This one and one other one that I had a few years back. And both were actually machines in good condition. Now, I have just spent the last 5 hours scrubbing this, because while it is in good condition, it was incredibly filthy. I mean, really filthy. All black. It was to the point that it looked like a very, very dark mahogany. And with the help of Kotton Klenser, I have gotten it to the point now where the most of the dirt, I still have a few areas I'm going to go over again for the 4th or 5th time, but not too many. I want to hit the doors again a little bit. They still have a tiny bit, maybe on the edges here. You have to be careful not to take it too far where it's actually taking original finish off. You don't want that. You just want to lift the dirt. I use a soft bristle toothbrush and work inches at a time to take off the dirt, and it produced all of that. That's a lot of paper towels. You could see the filth that's on them. That's what came out of the wood. That is what a century and plus of sitting around will do. It just darkens the wood. I mean, age darkens shellac finishes also. You can't take off an aged look to the shellac once it's in there, but you can lift the dirt. And this one was mostly dirt. You can see on here, it actually has a dealer sticker too, a water decal. Alonzo Wilkes of Amsterdam, New York. And that either says sold to or sold by. I suspect it's sold by. Alonzo Wilkes. And you can see that the wood, the edges are in very nice shape. No gouges, no big dings and divots, no paint splatters. Or if there were paint splatters, a Kotton Klenser took them off and they were hidden underneath the filth. I just never saw them. You can see in 1917, of course, had the isolated horn. Just all they did was take the slats out of the horn. That's all they really did to these. They didn't do anything else. We have the metal parts soaking in Kotton Klenser. Another thing that I found on this particular machine I've never seen on any Victrola before. Any of them. And I've taken hundreds of these apart by now. Let me, I gotta dip into the goo here to get them out so I can show you. Okay, this is one of the motorboard. I'm sorry, this is one of the motor screws. This attaches the motor to the motorboard. And there are 3 of them on any Victrola. They all use 3. Get the 3rd one there. Don't want to make too big of a mess. Okay. What do you see here? What seems to be different with one of these screws. And I was kind of surprised to see it, and my immediate thought was, well, somebody lost a screw and simply replaced it with some kind of a carriage bolt. I don't know, except for one thing. This screw, other than this missing the slot, is identical to any other Victrola motor screw. It's nickel plated. It's the same diameter, same thread. It is the same size, same number of threads on there. It is, you can see, it's right next to the other one. That is an identical screw to the other two, except somehow they forgot to put the slot. Factory mistake. And I don't know how they expected it. I mean, I got the nuts off with a wrench, but I guess that's how they did it at the factory too. Decided to keep it on there. I don't know why, but I never saw that before. That is a new one on me. And I'm going to keep it that way. I'm going to put it back the same way once all the goo and grease and stuff, not grease, but rust mostly is off of the washers there and everything's cleaned up. It also had a set of you can see it under the water, a little bit different knobs on it, which I think are replacements, probably are, but they fit so nicely that I'm not entirely sure. So they're going to stay on there too, just in case they are original. Now the next step with this, once the cleaning is done, is I'm going to put the wood feeder on there to rejuvenate the wood a little bit and bring back some life to it. And it does a really good job of that too. Makes it pop a little bit. You see that it brings out the grain. Beautiful grain on that wood too. And that's really all this needs. I mean, obviously it's going to need the motor service. You can see that. That motor is greasy, but it's in good condition and it is functional. It's working. Yeah, but it's just that it's got old black graphite grease dried on there. You can see it. All the gears are in good shape though. The governor's in good shape. Even the friction leather is in good shape and still pliable. Just needs a good scrubbing, which I'm not going to do now as we're running out of daylight. But I will get to it. We're going to need a new felt on the turntable because the moths have eaten it or something has dined on that. Don't know what exactly. We have the little diagram for greasing it. For those of you that don't have it, take a good look at it. There you go. You know how to oil and grease your number 4, or any Victrola for that matter. Not your number 4, your Victrola the 4th. The number 4 is a totally different machine. The Victrola the 4th. It had the exhibition reproducer on it, which needs the full service. You know, it needs everything. You can see the condition of that gasket. That gasket is finished. Yeah, that's done. The diaphragm actually still looks pretty good. The isolator gasket just corroded off. You can see the remains of it there. It just crumbled away, and somehow the reproducer did not get separated from the machine. That is often a problem with these exhibitions when the back gasket crumbles away. This gets separated in the attic or the basement of the shed. It never makes it back to the machine because there's no convenient place to really store it with the machine when it's not on the tone arm. And let's put that there. That's it. You end up with a machine that has an empty tone arm on it. 100 years later, now you have to find one. So you go to eBay and you're going to pay, these days, probably close to $60 just for this, something that needs a full rebuild. This is what you're going to have to do if you want to, if you want a reproducer on there. You could put a number 2 on here also, which is sometimes easier to find. But for the original exhibition, they're getting a little pricey. And then, like I said, you got to have it. If you don't do the work yourself to rebuild them, I rebuild my own. If you don't do your own work, you have to pay someone to do it. Then it's going to cost you quite a bit of money. But finding one and all of that, it's a pain. Got lucky with this one; it was still there. The old fella that had it all together, and he says it spins. That's great. I don't care. If it doesn't spin, I'll fix it. It's not like I haven't done it 100 times already, but it just struck me as the wood was very nice under the filth. So right away, and when I swung that door open and I saw the missing slats, I said, you know what, I'll take it. I'll take it. There's just not that many of them around. I have another one. I have another one like it in my collection. And like I said, I've had a third that I did sell. This one, I don't know what I'll do with it. Might keep it, might sell it. Who knows? No rush, no hurry. I'm going to enjoy it in the meantime. It takes quite a bit to bring these machines back, and you never really get your money back when you do it yourself. You never, there's no client paying for this. The outfits out there to do this for a living, on the internet and whatever they advertise, they have a client paying them to do this. They work by the hour, or some of them have a set rate. Cabinet cleanings are $200-$300, whatever it is, plus motor service, another $45 to $145, you know, whatever it is. When you're a hobbyist like I am, when you do this, you can put 10-15 hours into this, not really worry about it, because I'm doing it for a hobby. I'm doing it for the fun of it, just to play around. I'm not worried about having to bill somebody $1,200 to restore, not restore, that's the wrong word, to bring back from the dead one of these machines, you know, without altering its finish, without, you know, changing it all up or anything like that, and make it play again. You know, it takes quite a bit of time, quite a bit of effort. And when I sell these things, I never ever get that back. You know, that's never going to happen. Very rarely do I ever start with a Victrola or any phonograph that's in such good condition. All I have to do is add a little bit of oil and it plays. That never ever happens. You know, that's just not how it is. Because those machines belong to collectors who know what they're worth, and they sell them accordingly. They don't usually show up at flea markets and tag sales and stuff like that where I find them. And very, very rarely on eBay, unless they're said, you know, the guy is telling you he's done all this work and he, again, charging accordingly. But it's going to look good when I'm done, and it'll play records. I got a big stack of records to test. A friend of mine found at a flea market, and I found a few myself, and got time, got all winter. You know, there's plenty of other machines to work on also. I'm working on a small Peter Pan type machine again. I have another Victrola 50 that suddenly came away. Not that I have any lack of Victrola 50s. I probably have 15 of them stashed away, waiting for me to get to them, and another 10 of them that I've already played with. You know, I've been collecting those machines for 35 years, so I have a lot of EV50s, but found another one. This was another flea market machine, and my friend found it. I didn't. He found me one last year that I did a video on. I rebuilt it over the winter, an oak one, and he found an almost identical machine, same flea market. I don't know if it's the same seller, but same flea market, same general. It was a 1922 or late 21 or early 22 machine, oak again, and the condition is exactly the same as the first one he found, which is nice actually. It's a nice condition. You know, I don't want to mess around with VV50s that have the back panel snapped off and huge pieces of wood missing, or veneers that's all gone. I'm not a cabinet maker. I clean wood. This is what I do. I clean wood. If there's a loose joint here or something like that, I'll clamp it with hide glue and put it back. I don't reconstruct cabinets. I don't have the tools for that. I don't have the knowledge and skills for that. All the materials. You know, I don't have the means to make a new lid, a new top, anything like that. So I like to play with the machines that need cleaning and motor work. I like motor work. That's my thing. I'm a motor guy. I do motors, and I will clean and bring back the original finish on a Victrola. That's what I do. Well, no, that's not what I do for a living, but that's what I do for my hobby. That's what I want to do. I don't care if it's got a broken spring and missing weights on the governor. I have all kinds of Victrola parts. I'll fix that. That's nothing. I can do that in my sleep. It's a matter of degreasing everything and, you know, finding the right springs. You can still get new springs. I have new springs in stock for some of these. I have all kinds of governors and weights and governor springs, and I know how to put all that together. That's nothing. That's good. That's easy stuff. Woodwork's not so easy for me, so I try to avoid that. You know, with the Victrola Forts, the wood problems on these you have to look out for. This top piece here, this lid, and they're not all the same. The lids change. You know, the motor boards change over the years. But this style, right here, you see that. Let me see if I find it good. Okay, we'll look on the edge here. See that? Right there, that line. And there's another one right there. This is actually made from 3 separate pieces of wood that have been glued together. And what can happen to these is sometimes these will warp, especially if the screws holding it down to the body of the machine aren't there. These can warp, and if they're really damp, they can completely separate. Now you've got 3 separate pieces of wood that you've got to get back together perfectly without ruining the original finish, if there's any left. I try to avoid those. Sometimes you'll find them with corners missing. You know, I don't like to get involved with that kind of thing. I leave that to those with the skills to handle it and the facilities. This is more my style, so we'll put that over there. I like to get them and make them play like new again. Come on, get on there. There we go. Close. And it will. I've probably had 6 or 7 of these on the channel by now, I think. I haven't always made videos on every one I do because they're pretty routine. You know, you've seen me play around with 1/4. You've seen me do it at 100. Very few of them are particularly unique in any way. I mean, you have the basics, the early style that's got the built-in wooden horn, you know, the internal baffling for the horn rather, and then you have this style with the isolated cast iron horn in there. You've seen that, and the only one I haven't done is the Victrola, which technically is not a Victrola to 4th, but really it is. It's the same size machine. It's the same basic type, except it's made from maple and not oak, and has other differences, but it's sort of the last version of this machine. The very last one. I believe they even went back to exhibition reproducers on those. I'm not 100% sure on that. I do have one somewhere, but I really haven't done anything with it yet. And it didn't come to me with a reproducer, so don't know what it originally had. But there you go. That's the current project as it stands. We're into the fall now. You know, it's the hot, humid, disgusting, buggy weather is gone, and it's time for me to be working on my machines again. You can see the leaves are all turning. Starting to look nice out again. Or be nice anyway. I hate working outdoors. I have to do this kind of work outdoors because it absolutely stinks. You know, that Kotton Klenser is not toxic, but it does kind of smell. And sometimes there's a mold smell too. This is outdoor work. And I hate working with the mosquitoes dive bombing me and having to soak down with insect repellent and all of that. That's not fun, really. And I could work in the shop, but you know, it's kind of tight in there too right now. I got a lot of machines stacked up in there. I got to get going on some of those. But that's it for now.